An all-ticket crowd of over 50,000, a thrilling but testing occasion for 5 players in particular. There's Peter Davenport making his 3rd appearance for Manchester United, the club he supported as a boy. There's City striker Mark Lillis playing in his first Old Trafford derby, but he was here as a youngster as a City fan. Mark Higgins plays his first league match for over 2 years. His last one was here for Everton before injury looked like ending his career. 18-year-old Steve Redmond in the City defence is playing only his 3rd league game. And Peter Barnes comes back against his old club despite breaking a bone in his hand yesterday. Barnes replaces Jesper Olsen. Higgins comes in for the injured Kevin Moran. And news too that Brian Robson has come through a practice match and could be back in the first team as soon as next Saturday. City have Redmond at centre-half in place of the suspended McCarthy. Steve Kinsey and Clive Wilson are recalled after a long absence in preference to Gordon Davis and Paul Simpson, who's their substitute. A Cheshire referee for this Northwest occasion, Don Shaw, comes from Sandbach, 35 miles away. It's 6 years to the day since United beat City here at Old Trafford. March the 22nd, 1980, United won here 1-0. Well, they did beat City 3-0 at Main Road earlier this season. A partisan, almost tribal occasion. The City fans are at the right-hand end and the United faithful packing the Stretford end to the left. The end which City in their blue strip are defending in the first half. The first of 2 cup finals in successive days is how City are treating this. Duxbury short to Strachan. Helped on by Gibson. Clements with the header. Not really clear. Hughes takes on the young 18-year-old Redmond, who fouled him. The noise absolutely deafening. Whiteside and Strachan are close to the ball. Gibson is just to their left. Might fancy a shot with his left foot. He did! It's there! Colin Gibson, the man wearing Brian Robson's shirt, scores a goal with his left foot, which would have done justice to the England captain. What a start for Manchester United. Gibson, a good left-footed striker of the ball, buried that low in the corner, and the Reds are off to a flyer. Only the 2nd minute of the derby, and City a goal behind. All because Hughes, number 9, won the free kick. A man who's supposed to have Barcelona on his mind. Not at this minute, I shouldn't think. Here he is again. Plays it back to Duxbury. And here's McNabb for City, who are trying to get out of their own half with some difficulty. Wilson, Lillis. Harassed by Whiteside, Strachan. Davenport's gone to the right wing. Strachan tries the lofted shot. Well, the stunned City fans, whose own team haven't scored for their last 4 matches, know that they've got to do so today now to find a way back into the derby. Caught cold. Lillis, he's got Kinsey up with him on that side, and Duxbury will have to be quick. McGrath was. It was a good challenge by Paul McGrath. Chris Turner still keeping Gary Bailey out of the side. Gibson, Albiston. Here's Barnes, almost his first touch. Inside to Strachan. And on by Whiteside, it might come again for him. He's got Duxbury wide if he wants him. There are 4 in the middle. Here's Strachan. Oh, and Nixon didn't make it. Defenders saved him. Whiteside goes in and committed a foul. Whiteside went in on Phillips, left his foot there. Referee had to separate them. But Nixon was nervous. There's no question about that. The ball in troubled him, and his defenders got it away. Lillis. Power. Looking for Kinsey. McGrath letting it bounce. Kinsey's in on him. Was it hands? Kinsey again. McGrath brings the ball out only as far as Andy May. A corner is given. Up goes Clements. Fine save by Turner. You just wondered if he was going to get back in time to turn it over, and he did. From Kenny Clements. Now Wilson with the corner. Driven. Header out by McGrath. Just over a quarter of an hour gone, and City's turn to attack. Nicky Reed. Power went charging forward. Message is being passed down there because Ron Atkinson has just gone back to his seat. Kinsey, May again, Lillis, and May once more, and May again, and Phillips at the far post. Here's McNabb. Now Power. And Duxbury blocks. It's a corner to City to be taken by McNabb. Clements has stayed back this time, but Redmond has gone forward again. Lillis up, Phillips with the drive, and over and into the crowd behind the goal from David Phillips, when you would probably have backed him normally to strike that one under the crossbar. Just got underneath it as the bounce came in front of him, but he knows it was close in the last minute of the half for City. And half-time comes with Manchester United leading in the derby by 1-0. Loud applause. It's been typically competitive, but only one goal to show for all the action, and that came in the second minute when Colin Gibson drove in following a free kick. And that's all that separates the Manchester rivals at half-time. Gibson's 5th goal since he came from Aston Villa. Well, the moment of truth in the championship race is not too far away now. Manchester United leading here. Next Saturday they're away to Birmingham. On Easter Monday, Everton come to Old Trafford. Offside, Simpson. And the official attendance announced this afternoon as 51,274. It was an all-ticket match. It isn't United's best of the season, but that had something to do with the segregation. On by Davenport to Hughes. Gibson came through the gap. This is Strachan. Now Whiteside. Duxbury. Power who came across. Davenport. Duxbury. Strachan. Duxbury again. Crowd anxious to see a cross go in. It went from Whiteside to Hughes. Strachan was set up for the shot, and it could fall for Davenport. Oh, no! City are let off the hook by a most uncharacteristic slice by Davenport when he was well placed to make it 2. Whiteside played the initial ball into Hughes. The ricochet off the City defender really set Davenport up, but he blazed wide of the goal, and City are going to make a substitution off the back of that. 19 years old Paul Simpson who is in the England under-21 squad for next week, was dropped for today's game, but he's going to have to come on now because it looks as though Kenny Clements is injured. Now, the big question here is, who goes into the back four? And I just wonder whether Lillis, City's main striker, whether he'll have to go back and play centre-half. I think he will. Certainly Simpson's gone up front with Kinsey. Good header by Gibson. Davenport, Hughes making his way into the middle. Davenport, penalty! Yes! Nicky Reed, I think, on Davenport. Penalty given to Manchester United. And a chance for them to go 2 up. He was turning inside, threatening to evade the challenge. Was sent crashing down, and the referee has given a penalty which Gordon Strachan appears to be taking, having resumed the responsibility from the spot. And scores! In the earlier derby, Robson scored from a penalty. He's not playing today. The job's changed hands more than once here. Strachan's taken it back, and he made no mistake. 59 minutes gone, Manchester United 2, Manchester City 0, and off comes Peter Barnes, and on comes Frank Stapleton. Well, there were 1 or 2 protests from City players, but not from Reed, it appeared. Davenport made his contribution, and Strachan made his point to get the second goal. It's really given Manchester United some breathing space, although teams tend to be vulnerable when they've just scored, and City now have a free kick which McNabb will take. And Lillis knocks it back for Kinsey. A goal that's really going to relieve the output of Gordon Strachan. That was only his 4th of the season for Manchester United, and only his 2nd in the last 23 games. This after scoring 19 last season, 9 of which were penalties. Here's Reed. So it looks as though Manchester United may be about to complete the double over their neighbours, although it should be said that in the last derby played here, City led 2-0 and United fought back to 2-2, so I wonder whether the reverse could happen. Simpson, May, Phillips in the penalty area. Wilson was too, and Wilson scores! His 3rd good chance, and he puts this one away for City's first goal in 5 games. Andy May worked hard on the right, and when the ball came across, Phillips was in there, and Turner may have been unsighted when Wilson's header crept into the far corner. The 71st minute, Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1, and at last they've got a goal, City. Hughes hung on well. Stapleton, Strachan, and Lillis comes across. The ball not really running for either of them. Here's Simpson. Oh, that's nicely done. Steve Kinsey wants it played now by Andy May, and he got it. And they're streaming up in support. Nicky Reed's up on the far side. Here's Simpson. Trying to turn McGrath, not succeeding, but the clearance doesn't help United. Power, and that doesn't help City either. And Strachan gets into trouble. Well, McNabb, Wilson, and Simpson. And what a... the defender! Albiston stepped across him, and and the ball went in. Arthur Orbiston stepped across, and inadvertently that went into the Manchester United net to make it 2-2. Simpson threatened the defence, but you wouldn't expect a mistake like that. It's put City level. Arthur Orbiston, who scored for United in the first derby at Main Road, now puts through his own goal to level the second one at Old Trafford. He's trying to make up for it. There he goes on a charge. And Lillis, the emergency centre-half, and one has to make this point, City have come back from 2 down with Kenny Clements off the pitch, and the centre-forward effectively playing at centre-half. 8 minutes to go. Davenport. Through the legs, beautifully done, but he couldn't nudge it back to Hughes, and the chance goes. Two goals in the space of 7 minutes have turned this Manchester derby on its head. Well, there was a foot up there. Well, the Old Trafford faithful saw that massive lead disappear in the championship race. 10 points, and now they've seen a 2-goal lead disappear against City. Reid. Oh, and Turner having to judge that carefully too. Didn't have to touch it as it happened, but Nicky Reid, who's conceding of the penalty, put Manchester United 2 up, has now seen his team come back to 2-2, and they might even do better. Right side, playing it beautifully out into the path of Gibson, but it's the ball in that matters now for United. And Redmond's there, but so is Strachan. The overhead frolics from Andy May. A mistake by Higgins, a bad mistake actually, which McGrath atoned for. And there's drama still to come, perhaps. Under 3 minutes, Strachan, Davenport, and Strachan again for United. Oh, it came back off the goalkeeper, back off Strachan and wide. Hughes was beautifully positioned if Strachan could have sensed where he was, but sometimes from up here it's so easy to say that. He was going for goal himself, and the rebound didn't favour United there, and the City fans behind the goal are still buoyant. Reid, McNabb, and thumped forward by Mark Higgins. Lillis doing a grand job there as the emergency central defender, but the Old Trafford crowd, or the United section of it, just screaming for a winner. This is Davenport. Gibson. Hughes! With under 2 minutes to go, Hughes sees his header go agonisingly wide. And with it, how much, I wonder, of United's championship prospects? Too early to say, but what is true is that they've allowed a 2-goal lead to slip here, and it could prove costly. 2-2 in the dying embers of this derby. There's Kinsey with McGrath. And now McNabb to May. And Stapleton got chopped a bit. 4 draws in a row then here for Manchester City, but for Ron Atkinson, more importantly, 2 championship points dropped, some would say thrown away. My own view is that although Orbiston got into a terrible mess on that equaliser, that Manchester City must take some credit. They were 2 down, They had Wembley on their mind tomorrow, perhaps, but they came back in this derby, as United did against them the last time they played here, to force a draw with 2 goals in a 7-minute recovery spell in the second half, and Billy McNeil has reason to applaud both his fans and his players. But the inquest here in Manchester will be about how Manchester United gave away a 2-goal lead, just as they were earlier in the season, about how they lost a 10-point lead in the championship race. An eventful derby with Neil McNabb, one of the men of the match for me. Manchester United 2, Manchester City 2.